Hey, 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 welcome back. Okay, voice is still rickety, but I'm working through it, okay? All right, remember, anytime you have a book, you got to think within the text, you got to think beyond the text, you got to make connections to yourself and the world and other texts, right? And then you have to think about the text, how the author is organizing and presenting the information. Okay, I saw a lot of cool text features in here. The author actually put the form that people fill out when they're bird counting. Okay, charts. I see, of course, the glossary. I see sidebars, captions. So, yeah, this is a pretty good book. So remember, when you're thinking within the text, think about things like the ordinary people help scientists by collecting birds, counting birds as a part of the great backyard bird count. Their observations help scientists learn about birds. They fly away. The flyaway is the path the birds follow each year while migrating. Remember, when you're thinking beyond the text, participating in the great backyard bird count takes desire and dedication. Okay, in the community, if the community doesn't participate in the great backyard bird count, then scientists' knowledge of birds um, won't be as extensive. Okay, they won't have that much information. So also thinking about how the author presents the information. So the writer uses the map to help the reader understand the migratory paths of some animals. They use bolded words. They use a glossary to support the reader's learning of new vocabulary words. They use sidebars to enhance your reader's your understanding of birds. Okay. Now remember, every book has a message. So sometimes scientists depend on non-scientists to help them collect information for their research. So many people work together towards the same goal, okay? And it can have very valuable outcomes, okay? So everyone can contribute to science, okay? Even you can get that form and participate, all right? Remember, there's a website for it. It's called the Great Backyard Bird Count. Google it, okay? So listen, so look at the way the writer Sarah Brockett organizes this book. So look at the first section on page 2, starting at page 2. Go ahead and do that quick, quick, quick. There you go. You do it too. So what does the writer do in this section? Go ahead and read it, and I want you to talk to your partner about it. And yes, pause the video. I'm gonna cough. Okay, so what did you find in the section starting on page 4? Talk to your partner quickly, less than 30 seconds. Okay, so now turn to page 9. Welcome back. So the writer changes purpose in this section beginning on page 9. So read pages 9 through 13 again. Remember, you got to focus your reading. You have to have a purpose for reading. And the purpose for this one is to talk about the section, okay? We want to know why they put this section in there. So 9 through 13, okay? Go ahead and do that now. Pause the video. Okay, so you notice that the writer switches to a how to do it kind of format. First, she tells what the bird count is, and then she presents information on migration to show the importance of the count. So you notice that in this section, she tries to get readers interested in participating by telling them step by step what to do. So you notice that she used the word you to talk directly to the reader. Do you think that this makes the book more interesting? Because she's talking to you, right? Okay, so if you are writing about a topic where a how-to section is appropriate, you might want to get the reader engaged by including one. Okay, so let's look at the word binoculars. Okay, so look at the caption on page 2. Those are binoculars. There you go. And those are binoculars. Okay, so binoculars are also called field glasses. Okay, so you would use these to observe when you're observing in the field, right? Or whatever you're studying or watching. They help you see things that are far away by magnifying them. So let's look at the parts of the word. The first is by, often means to, and by is a prefix, right? Prefix comes before the base word. The word part ocular refers to the eye. Okay, so anytime you hear ocular, you know it's the eye. And then can you see a connection to the word binoculars? So you have two eyes watching, right? 1, 2. By, 2. So things like bicycle, bicentennial, bifocals, okay? So those all have to do with two. I'm about to cough, I'm sorry. Okay, so all those have to do with two, okay? Two. So let's go ahead and work on our fluency. So turn to page 14, please. Okay, turn to page 14. I want you to notice my voice, how my voice sounds, and where I pause as I read, okay? On page 14, so bear with me. Making sure the birds survive. The data collected during the Great Backyard Bird Count is helpful to scientists who study birds. Scientists are able to draw conclusions about bird populations from the counts they get, adding to their understanding of how birds behave. They can see the number of birds that migrate and where they went. The scientists use this information to look for changes that stand out. Okay? So that's as far as I'm going to read. Okay? So I want you to go ahead and read that same paragraph and kind of imitate what I did. So practice the phrasing, okay, and the pausing and kind of the way I sounded when I use my voice, okay? So we're going to read the paragraph again, and remember to watch the punctuation and make your voice show it by pausing, sounding exciting at the exclamation point, and going down in tone for a period. So excited at the exclamation, and then just going down in tone in the period part. So keep on reading even if I stop, okay? Okay, that was page 14. All right, let's read it together. Making sure the birds survive. The data collected during the Great Backyard Bird Count is helpful to scientists who study birds. Scientists are able to draw conclusions about bird populations from the counts they get, adding to their understanding of how birds behave. They can see the number of birds that migrate and where they went. The scientists use this information to look for changes that stand out. For example, crows always had a high number in the count. Then, in 1999, excuse me, the number of crows dropped. This told scientists that crows were probably getting sick with the virus that was spreading among birds. The number stayed low year after year. Now, bird watchers are reporting seeing more crows. Scientists think this means that crows are healthy again. If their count continued to increase next year, the scientists will be sure of it. Every checklist matters, so get ready for the next bird count in your area. You can help scientists not only learn about bird migrations, but also how changes in the environment affect birds and what bird populations might be in trouble. In the process, you'll not only be a bird watcher, you'll be helping birds to survive. All right, great job. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to your word study, okay? So, so here's your focus. Okay, these are homophones. So some multisyllable words show the same, sound the same, but have different meanings and usually spelled differently. Okay, so the first word is allowed and allowed. Okay, so I want you to find these words in your word study section or your list, and I want you to arrange them. Okay, so I want you to sort them. So the first word is allowed, symbol, minor, and weather. Okay, here's some more you may see: ceiling, cellar, morning, and pedal. Okay, so what do you notice about these paired words? So go ahead and sort them and tell your partner what you notice, okay? So you should notice that they sound the same, but they're spelled differently, right? And they have different meanings. So those are called homophones. Okay? They sound the same and they mean different things, okay? So take turns turning. So what I want you to do is turn all the words over, and I want you to take turns turning over the word and using it in a sentence. Then turn over a second word. If it makes a homophone pair, use the new word in a sentence and keep the card. If not, turn both cards over and let your partner play. Okay, so flip those cards over. Flip them over. If you have a pair, make a sentence. If you don't, flip it back over, and it's your partner's turn. So go ahead and do that and have fun with it. And I'll see you back in less than 3 minutes. That's all the time you get. Okay? Alrighty. So this story is another awesome story. The genre focus is this is an informational text that reports unusual animal behaviors prior to some natural disasters that have occurred around the globe. So it also describes scientific studies that are being conducted to determine whether some animals have the ability to predict natural disasters. Okay, this story is called Animal Warnings by Katie Duffield. Okay, and this is from the Unsolved Mysteries series. Okay, so look at page 2 and 3. Go ahead and do that. Okay, so this book is a part of the Unsolved Mystery series. Scientists are working to find out more about mysterious animal warnings before disasters. Okay, so look at page 2 and 3. The picture shows damage done by the tsunami in 2004 in Indonesia. So a tsunami, and yes, that's a T right there, it's a silent T, is caused by an earthquake in the ocean. What are you thinking as you look at this picture? Wow. What are you thinking? The tsunami caused terrible damage, and many people died because they didn't have enough time to reach safety. I'm going to cough. Hold on. In this book, you will read that animals sometimes behave in unusual ways before natural disasters, such as an earthquake or a tsunami. So look at pages 4 and 5. Okay? The morning of the tsunami, a group of elephants broke their chains and charged up a hill. Maybe they could sense the earthquake. Wow. And look at that dog there. He's howling. So go ahead and read that sidebar with the dog, okay? So go to page 8 and 9. Wow. I'm sorry, these pictures are amazing. Okay, 8 and 9. Okay, in the small picture, you will see a hurricane on weather radar. In the larger picture, you will see a black-tipped shark. You'll find out what these sharks did when Hurricane Gabriel approached southern Florida. Okay? Scientists are investigating these animal warnings. As you read this book, think about how it might help people to learn how animals sense disasters like earthquakes, tsunamis, and hurricanes. Okay? So I want you to go ahead and read this book. Oh my gosh, you're going to get so much interesting information from this book. I'm so excited to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and read this from cover to cover. Okay? And we're going to talk about it. So pause the video and come on back when you're done. Excuse me. Oh, I hate being sick. Okay, welcome back. So when scientists aren't absolutely sure of an answer, but have some good evidence, they create a theory to explain something and then keep on searching for more evidence. So what are the theories about the reasons for the animal's behavior described in the book? So what are the scientists saying about the animal's behavior? Okay, so talk to your partner about that, but before you do, let me give you the other questions. So why is this kind of investigation important to people? If we can learn how animals detect danger, then we can use this information to help save lives, right? So go ahead and talk with your partner about the scientists' theories on why the animals were doing what they were doing, okay? And then come up back. Okay, welcome back, friends. Um, remember, anytime you read a book, those 3 things you need to be doing, thinking about the things that you're learning within the text, okay? And then thinking about what connections you're making, so thinking beyond the text, all right? And then you have to think about the text. How is the author presenting this information to you, okay? So, and then there's always a message, okay? So when you're thinking within the text, you should have thought about things like, or you should remember things like, throughout history, there have been many reports of animals acting strangely before natural disasters. Scientists are conducting experiments to see if animals really can sense natural disasters before technology can. So now thinking beyond the text, making those connections. So even though there's a lot of stories about animals predicting natural disasters, scientists have to find real proof, okay? So finding the proof will just be the first step. Scientists will have to figure out how we can use this information to help people, right? So if scientists can prove that animals can predict natural disasters, then we can be safer, okay? Because we can get to safety a lot faster, okay? So now when you're thinking about the text and how the writer is presenting this information to you, remember the writer included photograph, interesting captions to enhance your reading, okay, and understanding. He she added context vocabulary in bold, um, because that's a signal for you to look it up in the glossary or start using your context clues, right? And then she added dates and places and real storms so that you can do this. You can research this. Everything that she's saying in this book, it's researchable, okay? Because it's nonfiction, right? It's informational text. Okay, so I want you to remember, okay, and here's my teaching point. So let's look at the lead, the beginning of the informational book, okay? So I want you to turn to page 2. This is the lead, okay? The lead is an important part of a nonfiction book, okay? Talk about what the writer does on the first page to let readers know what the book is about and what some of the important ideas are. So here's the lead. They start with the question, okay? Question. So the heading raises a key question in the reader's mind. In the first paragraph, the writer lets the reader know what a natural disaster is. Okay, and and mentions and briefly defines the three kinds of disasters that will be discussed in this book. So we got the tsunami, we have a hurricane, and then probably the earthquake. Okay. So in the second paragraph, the writer states the problem and some observable animal behavior that we cannot yet explain. So do you think this writer does a good job helping you as a reader prepare to read the rest of the book? Turn and talk to your partner about that. Do you think the writer, when the writer did the lead, started with the question, told you what you're going to learn about, told you three storms that you're going to learn about? Do you think that was a good idea to prepare you to read this book? Talk to your neighbor. Okay, welcome back. So when you read, pay close attention to the lead because it will prepare you to learn the important messages of the book. Okay? All right, see you later. Bye.